I got one elderly people from Gotham. Now I got more elderly people from Better Call Saul. Welcome, guys, to another Better Call Saul review. Alpine Shepherd Boy. Yeah, just make sure. Alpine Shepherd Boy was actually a really good episode. Now, this is a spoiler review, so I'm assuming you saw the episodes. These are just my thoughts. And you know what? It was a really solid, great episode. What the good thing about Better Call Saul is I'm never bored. Maybe the first episode I was kind of a little bored. But I'm never really bored. There's always something going on. Like last episode, we saw Chuck, stealing a newspaper. Now Chuck, the neighbor actually called, or one of the neighbors called the cops on him, and the cops go to his door. They don't understand that Chuck has this condition, and we, the audience, didn't really fully grasp what his condition was. We knew he was like kind of a weirdo. Well, we find out that he's allergic to electricity, if that makes sense. He goes into that one state when he was coming back to the house, and he just can't deal with electricity, can't deal with the sun. Just overall, just anything that has to do with electricity, honestly, or solar. Well, we see him, going back to the house. We see the cops knock on the door. And this is where I was like, these cops are screwed. These cops are going to be sued something. Because the cops had no warrant. The cops had no probable cause, like they said. They saw all the electricity, circuits removed when that one cop went from the side of the door and looked inside the house. And they pretty much kicked down the door and they tasered his ass. And, Chuck was in the hospital. While Saul, or a.k.a. Jimmy, Saul was basically visiting all the clients he saw when he got messages on his phone. I thought that was a funny piece. I thought that was great. The first client's like, how about $1 million? And you see Saul like, that's fair. he's just like a little kid. He's like, oh, I can't believe I'm getting $1 million. I was like, I can't believe he's getting $1 million. And we find out it's basically $1 million of the guy's face. So can't use the damn thing. So that was a funny little bit. The funny little bit too was when he was visiting that one potential client, and he had that toilet that could talk, encouragement. And that one was hilarious. It was so overly sexualized. I'm like, wait a minute, what? Like, what's with the voice and what's with the sayings? That was a funny bit. And then he meets a sweet elder lady. That was kind of funny when she was just taking her time, on that chair going down the stairs. And he found a business though. He found his little groove as he gets $140 for just doing wills and all this other stuff. So, basically her will. And it was great to see Kim, him and Kim, interact after that big old blow up fight, last episode. And basically, Kim suggesting that he should go to the elderly, kind of elderly clients. I mean, there's something there. A lot of elderly people need help with a lot of their, wills and other kind of type stuff, and that's actually really true. I mean, elderly people do leave stuff behind for the kids and their generations. So, I mean, there is a business to be had in there. So, Jimmy pretty much says, all right, he's thinking about it. But then he gets a call. Kim gets a call from the one guy who's the top guy in the firm, Howard, and tells Saul like, hey, Chuck's in the hospital. So they go visit Chuck. And Chuck is, lights are all over the place. Saul's basically turning all the lights off. Dr. Cruz, we meet this doctor who's taking care of him, is calling security. He pretty much, Kim pretty much handles the whole situation, calms everybody down, and they do get rid of all the lights. And, Dr. Cruz, I really like Dr. Cruz. I hope she makes more appearances. I think Dr. Cruz is she's very smart, because as Chuck was basically telling him everything that was wrong with him, she turns on this electricity on where the bed is, because everybody doesn't have their cell phones and stuff at this point. And Chuck, felt like she had like a magnet or whatever. He called that out, and she's like, oh, I do have it. But she wanted to see if it was all mental or not. And Chuck is basically all mental. There's something that happened to him 2 years ago because he says 2 years ago this happened, this started occurring, because we saw in the flashbacks as well that he was perfectly fine. So there's something that happened 2 years ago that made him like this. I wonder what it is. Of course, we're going to find out. Also, we see basically, the doctor really get the heads up and say, listen, it's all mental. It's you babying him. He needs to get this help. He needs to get help. He needs to get the help he can. I could recommend this and that. And Saul doesn't want to do that. But he asks Kim, hey, what would you do? And Kim replies, like, I would give him help. So, but Saul pretty much says that he's going to take Chuck home. And that's what he does. He takes Chuck home. And they discuss the whole hero billboard thing, and pretty much he pretty much tells him he's going to go to the elderly kind of type of clients, and that's exactly what he does. He gets a new suit and stuff. So we're seeing a transformation of Jimmy becoming Saul little by little. And then I love a little bit when he goes up to Mike and he says, I got the stickers. It's late at night. He says, I got the stickers. And we transition from Saul to Mike and how his days go. His part of his days go, because we're leading up to another type storyline that's next week's episode. And Mike, going to this house where this woman is getting out, about to go to work. If you watch Breaking Bad, you understand probably what it's all about. But there's more to it, because a lot of cops show up to Mike's house, and there's something that's going to go down next week, something to do with catching a guy. So that's going to be interesting to get into Mike's basically backstory. I absolutely love the cinematography. That was when Mike was sitting in the diner, and you just see just everything going on around him. He's eating his breakfast, but it's just him. It just feels like you're just with him in this intimate moment but there's still people eating around him and stuff, but the lighting makes it so great that it just seems like it's just him alone. And Mike's a lonely guy. I thought it was kind of funny too when Saul basically here's my card. He gives Mike the card before he's able to leave, when Mike was working at the toll booth, and he's like, oh, here's my call. Maybe some elderly people. The whole time I was thinking, like, damn, when Saul was getting old clients, like, Mike's pretty old. I'm surprised he's not in this old folks home. So I thought that was a funny little bit as well, a little funny little thing going on there. There was something else too that I thought was great. Can't remember what it was. It was something kind of cool. Can't remember what it was. But overall, it was a great episode. A solid episode. A lot of humor. A lot of, in the very beginning, it was very funny. A lot of, Saul getting his groove. A lot of things, him working his way, trying to get, money, trying to get clientele, and it's great to see, it's interesting for him to get, to help the elderly. It's something I haven't really seen before in movies or TV. I'd never really seen that before. So I did like how the Jello bit had his face in the bottom of the Jello. That was great. Overall, it was a great, solid episode. I really enjoyed it. Still looking good. Still great acting. Good characters. Can't wait to see Mike's little backstory, a little something of Mike, and Saul helping him out. That's great, because I love that team. I love those two together. I think they have great chemistry. And overall, I absolutely loved how in Mike's pretty much little backstory we were following him. Not a word was spoken. It was really just quiet. It was really exchanges of looks and stuff. When that woman was looking at Mike, it's probably his daughter. So it was great. It was really, really great. I enjoyed this episode a lot. I was entertained by Chuck and his disease or his condition. It's basically him, getting worse every time Saul does something stupid. And when Saul does something good, he's able to make coffee, apparently. So, great episode, solid. Really enjoyed it. Can't wait for next week's episode. Better Call Saul is doing a great job in capturing my attention, and I'm always looking forward to the next episode. So thank you guys for listening, and if you like this video, please like and please subscribe. I make videos for you every single day. I work hard on it. So let me know your thoughts on this episode. Let me know your thoughts on maybe what you think what next week's episode is going to be about, and about Chuck's condition. What do you think about that? So just let me know overall what you think of Better Call Saul in this episode. So thank you guys for listening, and